Parshas Pekida, Gitner Shabbos. Parshas Pekida. See, Parshas Pekida, Mishkan Oidus, zweimal. The Rebbe goes in a whole sikha about this. Mishkan Oidus. There's two Mishkans. There's a Mishkan up there. The Rebbe showed Moshe both Mishkans. One, the Mishkan up there. What is up there? Up there doesn't necessarily mean that it's high up in the sky. Up there means deep inside of you. Deep inside of you, to go to a place that we can see, from a place that activates, that you can see more than what you can see now. There is less halama, more is galus, and from that place you're able to see Mishkan. Just repeating what the Rebbe said, I mean, it's not, has to be worked on, but the Rebbe is telling you where the address, where it needs to be. We're talking here about Das. Last week was Vayakel, Moshe's Kol Das, it's collected the Das. And this week is Pekida, is Poiked. This is, I don't know why the pasuk Poiked Avayin Avos is coming to me. In other words, that through the pull, through the magnetic opposite pull, the Avaynus, which blocks from seeing, from that place, there is Yidgim L'Sarachamim. So the first one is HaMishkan, and then Mishkan Ha'edis. So the first one is that's up there, that's the Mishkan that's up there, but with everything said and done, the Mishkan up there, V'shechanti b'soichem, he wants to, dir b'tachtonim, the Eibishter, the Creator, this thing, whichever place one needs to go to find the thing within you. Forget about all the burden, so to speak, of what it appears to be, to do your duties as a Yid every day, but just to go into the place, just to create it, that thing that breeds you, the thing that you're feeling, the life force within you, feeling it in your body, feeling it whatever you're feeling it, thinking, enjoying, whatever that is, eating and feeling the taste of food, that thing wants dira b'tachtonim, it wants to be here in Welt. So until the job wasn't finished here, the Mishkan was built here, there was no dira b'tachtonim. It was still, it was up there. It was in a place of, it wasn't in physical, something that you can touch and feel. It wants to be expressed full. The desire is to be fully all the way down in Mata. So the word is Mishkan Ha'edis, and it's interesting. The Targum is Mashkin, a Mashkin of the Sadisa. It's almost like a Mashkin, which is a mortgage, which is like there's some sort of an investment, some sort of in other words, we each have this Mishkan, the Beis Hamikdash, within each and every one of us in our das, and which means that every Yid has the ability to turn on that awareness, that vision, the Mishkan. So it's all Oisias, it's all in the letters. It's whatever you're at, you're stuck. Whatever the Oisias, whatever stuckness one is in, that's the Tzirufa Oisias that is encoded, and that's the picture that shows up. So changing the Oisias by saying Tehillim, Ma'asim Tovim, doing good deeds, being more kind, less busy with others, more busy with self. That's the way, part of going into silence. So B'kitzur, Mishkan Ha'edis, interesting, the Rebbe ties this in, Ha'edis, that by something that you see, you don't need Eidis, because you see it. Eidis, a witness, is only something that you don't see, and that's why by Kiddush HaChodesh you need a witness, you need an Eidis, but if the Beis sees it, they don't need a witness, because it's as if they saw it. So what are we talking here about? We're talking about a light. We're looking at the Levana. We're looking at it as like a thing. When think about this thing, that if it's not there, what would the world look like? I mean, it's not a moon, it's not a Levana, it's a light, it's a consciousness. It brings something, an awareness into this world. And this Levana was just as big as the sun. It was just as big and as powerful. What would that look like? Imagine a moon twice the size, which is the Levana is Malchus, which is Leslie Megar Meklum, and it's also finding the highest, finding the Kesser through absolute surrender. And if the moon, if the Levana would have been twice the size, it would have been the size of the moon, which the Levana of the sun, we would be able to be much easier. There would be almost no click involved, because one would be able to see right through it, and to go into a place of oneness, to go into a place of less lemigar meklum, where the lack of light can't catch the lack of light and that desire within the person. I said two things: lack of light, and also there's a desire, there's a drive. So when there's a lack of light and there's a desire, it goes to the other side. If there isn't enough light, so you can't see, so that's being used for unique for the other side. So with the smaller moon, you have a smaller Levana, we have the bittul, but yet there's a strong desire. There is more desire than there is bittul, and therefore it's a massive fire of the other side and that's the gullus, that's where the pain is. Versus if the Levana would be just as big as the sun, just imagine that huge open space within the gut, within the womb, within the ratzon, to be able to hold space, not to be in a spal, and not to be taken out of bounds by anything that would almost have no achizah, but it was minimized because he said something. The moon said that why should it be both with the same, with the same light? So, anyways, he got, so to speak, it was minimized. So it's a light. It is a light. It's an edus that Malchus exists, something that we can't see. We can't see the Malchus, we can't see the true kingship. All we see is the hardship. We see the Shibud Malchus. We don't see the beauty in the Malchus. So Edis is the moon is a witness, the Levana is a witness. So going back to the Mishkan is Mishkan Edis. So we're building the Mishkan, and this week is Pekide. Pekide is it's a poiket. It's a moment of connection. It's a yichud. It's a very, very strong yichud. Moving the clock into Parshas Pekide, which means that, just to be a little more, to bring it down a little better. So Medaf Led Midatzayit, which means that it's a click. Every parsha is a click. It's another degree, another click, which is it's timeless, it's infinite, it's Torah, it's Nitzchi, it's Kedusha, it's the highest vibration, it's Dvar Hashem, it's the word of Creator. This thing is not going anywhere. But as we are living through a window, there's a click, and now we're in Parshas Vayakel, another click, and now we're in Parshas Pekudei. It's the same Pekudei that was always there, but now this is the focus, and once we put our focus, that becomes our will, and if that becomes the will, it goes, if there's connection, there's the heart, and then communication, speech, and then of course comes the moment, the yesod, which is the yichud. The yichud with the Mishkan. And what's the Mishkan? Mishkan Edis, which is, where it's at, where you need to go, because you have an Edis, you have a witness, where you need to go. There's also a Mashkan, a Mishkan, which is it's within us. We're holding the paper, we're holding the note. Neshamas Yisrael, Nishmas Yisrael. And there's Chazak. When it's Chazak, there's Shabbos Chazak. We're finishing the chapter. We're finishing Sefer Shemais. And we are in. Also, this week is going to be Zion Other again. Zion Other is the birth and the Petira of Moshe Rabbeinu, and Other Sheni is just an overlay. It's just an overlay of Other Rishon. There's really one other. And right now we are living in the radiation. We're living in the double of the first other. The first other was the oisias, and this other now we're in the light. We're in the emanation. Whatever shines through those oisias, as the oisias were going through the same light that was coming through the luchos, the same light, the Evan Tova. It's the same thing with Rosh Chodesh Adar, is we have the Oisias, which is the first Adar, and now we have the second Adar, which is living in the emanation as the light is shining through the oisias that we put in on the first other. And usually this happens in one other, but it's a little bit tougher because, how much more are we in Simcha right now that we had 30 days to practice, to go into Simcha, to letting go, and just actually convincing self that, yes, I could push through, I am in Chodesh Adar, there is Simcha, there is a stronger energy, it has stronger power. And finally now we're able to step in and take full advantage of the second other, which is being in, there's no chayma, there's just light and possibility to change the limited visual, to change the limitation of what one can see, of how I see, instead of seeing with the eyes, seeing with the eye of the neshama, seeing with the eye of your will. Chacham Einav Barosha, which goes into today's portion of the Tanya. Very, very strong piece. Where else are the eyes of a person? What do you mean a chochem had the oigen auf dem Kopf? And if you're not a chochem, where is your eyes? Everybody has their eyes on the head. Because look, he's talking to whichever level you are. I mean, we feel that the eyes are in the head, and I see, of course, where else are my eyes? They're not in the back of my head. But clearly he's talking on every level. Everybody, different vibrations, having the eyes in a different place, but regardless, Chacham Einav Barosha. A person should not go without an uncovered head for Amos. Why? Because the Shechina rests on his head. Okay? And just the way there is I'm just skipping here, just the way there is a candle, the wick, and then on top of that is the fire, so too the body of a person is the wick. This is the psila. And there is the light, the candle is on top of the head. Your brain is a candle, it's a fire, it's a light. That Shechina is, what is Shechina? Shechina is Malchus, it's Knesset Yisrael. That's what Shechina is. And this needs oil. Shlomo Malka Tzavach V'Amer. Shlomo HaMelech geschrieben and said, V'shem L'Roshcha Al Yachse. You should not have oil missing from your head. Because the light on the head needs oil. And what is oil? Ivdan Tavan, good deeds. Good deeds. If you're feeling soft, compassionate, that is oil. That's a soft oil. If you're feeling resentment and just squeezed and angry, that is not oil. That's the other side of the oil. Now there is levels of oil, and so therefore there is nobody's expecting anything. It's just saying that there's levels of oil. So the more refined oil one has, or you want to, it's your will, it's your ratzon to let go and to just tap into the flow. The more Shechina will come through. The more Mishkan, the more light will the more of a witness you become, that it's real, that it exists, and there is a Beis Hamikdash that's being built. And as all the tzaddikim and the Torah are saying, that Purim, Pesach, they say that we'll see something big will happen, a shift, in a move to the Geula Shalema. The final redemption is the last push. So Chazak V'nis Chazek, and have an awesome Lechting and Shabbos. And what else? What else is going on there? Simcha. I don't know. We got to work on Simcha. Simcha is not easy. It's easy, like it's very easily said. Simcha. There's, Simcha is avoda. All this is happening because you're not there. You're not besimcha, and you think about it. What's the big deal? Simcha. Because of that, all the other side of the brachas is coming because there's a lack of simcha. The answer is that it's that real. He's saying that the Torah is telling us it's that real. Like if you are going to be in a higher vibration, I will give you high vibration fuel. It has to be, because you can only breathe from the space that you're at. And having said, and while I'm saying that, look, sometimes you're going there and you're breathing, and it gets there's a lot of pressure. There's almost no oxygen. So, yeah, that's a malik, and that's why we have to take the steps. In other words, go there, know it's there, become a witness, having an experience, and then is the work, integration. And of course, if you are one, not even 1% out of whoever else in the world is not doing this, but I think the whole world is in an awakening. Everybody's shifting, everybody's working on something and becoming better at something, becoming more mindful at something. We're hoping now for Purim, Pesach. This is where there's going to be a huge vacuum of a cleanup of the distraction and the distortion, so we can tap into, take a deep breath and just be, without chasing something or running from something. Alech Shabbos.